Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Say More Words. I'm so happy that you're here, and welcome to episode 3 Affirmations, Manifestations, and Journaling. If you've not listened to episode 2 yet, I need you to go back and listen to belief because belief is the foundation that manifestations, affirmations build on. Okay. So if you don't believe in yourself, anything, right? Specifically yourself, your manifestations and affirmations won't come true. So here we go. You ready? I am a master manifester. I have been my whole life. I don't know why. I did not know why in the past, but anything I wanted, I got. And still to this day, anything I want, I get. Now, sounds like a bratty little kid, but it's not in that sense. It's that I just believe that I am fully capable at getting anything that I want, even if I don't even understand why I want it, or even if I don't understand how to get it, I will get it. And the beautiful part about it is that not only do I believe in myself so strongly, but I believe in those around me like 10 times, 100 times more. Any of the people in my life, if you're listening to this and you're like, I really want this and I believe that I can have it, and you can't quite figure out yet how to get it, send it to me in a message on any of my social medias, and I will work on your behalf in that belief department to make it happen because I just have that strong belief. I have that childlike wonder and imagination that I was talking about in the belief episode. Like, I fully believe that life is beautiful, wonderful, kind, and pure, and that I can have whatever I want. And I believe it because I used to believe that my life was terrible, that the people around me were terrible, that I was only destined for terrible, awful things. And so that's exactly what would happen to me. I would manifest people that were bad for me. I would manifest situations that were bad for me. And one day when I just decided to start believing that if I could have the bad, I could have the good, guess what? The good started to show up regularly. So let's talk manifestations. Manifestations, some people think of it like wooey, right? It's a wooey way of thinking, but really it's the law of attraction. It's believing that you can have anything if you're thinking about it. So the law of attraction is when you think about it, you bring about it. I've heard it said, if you start thinking about a yellow car, all of a sudden you start seeing yellow cars everywhere. And anytime that I say that, people start seeing yellow cars everywhere. But right now, you can't consciously think of the last time you saw a yellow car, can you? Because I can't. But now that I'm talking about yellow cars, I will see yellow cars everywhere. Or if you've ever had a moment, you've done the law of attraction before where you are thinking about somebody and you run into them. Or God forbid, you have a dream about your ex and they call the next day. Or, like you are like, it would be really fun if I could do, it would be really fun if I had this drink and your friend door dashes it to you, right? Like that is the law of attraction. It is what you think about, you bring about. And that's what manifestations are. What you think about, you bring about. A lot of people don't hit their goals, one, because they're not attainable. They don't make attainable goals. We'll talk about goals some other time. A lot of times, but step one, they don't believe that they're capable of doing them or achieving anything that they want. People in my life call it my crazy voodoo magic, but I'm like, if you want it, you'll get it. Tell me what you want because I believe that you will get it. Manifesting something in your life is just being so abundantly clear. In order to be a successful manifester, you need to, one, believe, but two, you need to be abundantly clear. When people work with me or they're in my space, I'm like, what do you want? They're like, oh, I want $10,000. Okay, great. But what does that mean? Like, what is 10,000? How are you going to get that $10,000? How would you like to get that $10,000? Would you like a new client? Would you like to sell 100 shirts? Like, how exactly are you going to get that $10,000? The clearer you are on the path of whatever it is you want, the more likely you are to get it. A couple of years ago, my husband and I we rented a house in Texas for many years because he went to chiropractic school and I had undergrad and master's debt. He had undergrad and chiropractic debt. Like, we rented for a long time, and we rented until we were ready to look for our dream home. And I tell you that we rented because it's a very taboo thing, right? There was a lot of people who were like, ugh, why don't you just buy a house? You're just throwing money away. Renting was the best option for us. When we sat down, we literally had a house date, and we talked about all of the details we wanted inside of our dream home. We wanted to have 2 stories. Why? Because for whatever reason, from a young age, our kids decided that people who have stairs in their house are superior to people who don't. I don't know why. No one told them. Kids are weird. But so we wanted 2 stories. We wanted to have a den. We wanted to have 4 bedrooms minimum. We wanted to have 3 full baths. We wanted to have a half bath. We wanted to have a dining area. We wanted to have an open concept in the kitchen and living room. Huge island. Did I say that we wanted to be on a cul-de-sac? That was very important because with 2 small kids, we wanted to be on a cul-de-sac. We wanted them to be able to run free because our previous house, if they stepped outside of our lawn, it was a good chance they were going to get plowed over by a car because that's how busy the road was in front of our house. We wanted balconies. There was just a gigantic chandeliers. Just, we sat down and wrote out every single detail. Now, here's where my mister went wrong, right? Because we sat down and had this date, and he told me, we'll try for next year. Okay, we'll try to find this house next year. We found it 2 months later. Don't try me, homie. Don't try me. We had all of the details, and because I am who I am, I manifest whatever I want. And we found our house on accident, literally 2 months later, closed on it a month later. Why? Because we were so, like, it was literally when we walked inside of the house, the list was there. It was so crystal clear. We had seen it in a dream. And that's how manifesting works. Like, whatever it is you want the details to be so very clear that when it shows up, you're like, yeah, I've been waiting for you. A house. I've helped people manifest spouses, children. And it's just a belief. It's a belief system of like, when do you want this thing to show up? How do you want it to show up? Now, here's the thing about the how. Sometimes when we have a goal or a big dream or something that we're manifesting, we get too stuck on the how. And I'm going to tell you that the how, it doesn't always show up exactly how you want it to, but it will show up exactly as it is, if that makes sense. Like, the details will be specific. It's just getting there sometimes is different. Sometimes the how goes all over the place and takes you on a path, but you still get there when you wanted to. Sometimes the deadline speeds up. Like, my husband wanted to wait a year and we found it in 2 months. We're buying it right now. Sometimes that happens. The how can be sticky. What you need to be so very crystal clear on is what it is. All of the details. Another fun story about manifesting, I started telling my audience, if you've come to an Evolve, if you've watched Tea Time with Tamika, if you've been in my space, I started telling my audience that I was manifesting at the time, 2022 blacked out Tahoe Z71 edition with all the bells and whistles. And I told them at the beginning of 2022, and I told them I would have it by the end of the year. All the bells and whistles, all the things I wanted. I have all of the list, the beautiful, I think the blacked out Tahoes, the new versions, they're just beautiful. I think they're sexual. And I started telling my audience, and at the end of the year, I didn't have my car. And so my audience was like, well, Tamika, why don't you have you get everything you want? I mean, I rallied everyone in, my entire audience, my kids, every time they see a blacked out Tahoe, they pointed out somebody had the nerve to buy one on my block. So they were pointing it out there. We'd see it everywhere. And people kept asking me, like, well, why haven't you gotten one yet? Why haven't you gotten one yet? Because you manifest them. Why haven't you gotten one? Well, this weird thing happened with Chevy and Tahoes in the state of Texas where for a while the Z71s weren't even here. Like, you had to go to like Oklahoma, Louisiana. You had to go somewhere else to get it. So step one, it just wasn't working out. It turned out that for whatever reason, the 2022s didn't have all of the bells and whistles in the Z71s that I wanted. For whatever reason, the 2022s were missing some of the things that I desired. So they brought it back for the 2023 model. So the 2023s have it, and it looks very similar to the 2022s. It's still very sexual, but the car's changed now. The car's changed now. Just so you know, you're hearing it here first. We're no longer going after the Z71. We're now going after the blacked out Escalade, which is what I've wanted since I was tiny. I don't know why. I think they're sexual. I'm getting one. So you've heard it here, and there's stipulations and there's guidelines, but there's very specific details inside of the vehicle that I want. And when she shows up, I'll know she's mine and I will buy her. But it's because it's the details. It's the details and the belief. Also, when you're manifesting something into your life, the belief, but also like when I get into belief, I get into all of my feelings, all of my senses and belief. What does it like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? The new car smell. There's nothing quite like it. What is the experience like when you walk in? Like, what does it feel like when they actually show up? Like, when I'm working with people and manifesting people, when it comes to clients, when it comes to partners, business partners, things like that, like, what is this person like? All of the details, every specific detail, as clear as you can get, so that when they walk in the room, you're like, yeah, there you are. I've been waiting for you my whole life. Where have you been? It is manifesting is hyperfixation on details and belief that you can have that thing. And once you do believe, what's really funny is that one, you start seeing those things everywhere. Like, guess how often I see my vehicle? All of the time, 3 or 4 times. Every time I get inside of my current vehicle, I see it everywhere I go. Your people, if as long as you're telling your people that's what you're looking for, they'll start rallying with you. They'll start seeing it. They'll start believing. But what ends up happening inside of your brain, the more you see it, the more you believe it, the more you believe that it can be yours, and your brain will start working with you instead of against you, that you can have it. Instead of thinking, I will never be able to attain that, your brain is like, yes, we can. Look, it's right over there. I can get it. What do I need to do? All of a sudden, you start getting new ideas. Okay, I want to buy this vehicle and it is very expensive. Well, now I'm creating new ideas of new programming or new opportunities to make money, so that that money has an opportunity to flow to me so that I can purchase that vehicle. When you move from I cannot to I can, your brain becomes so very powerful and you don't stop. It's so fun. Actually, like, working towards something that I want is the most joyful thing for me. Working towards and believing for my people in my space, in my circle, my clients, living in that belief for them that they can have it is the most joyful state I can be in. I'm so excited. I'm like, what are we going to do? Are we going to throw a party when it happens? When that person shows up, can I, like, do I get to hug them and squeeze them and say, thank you so much for being here? Like, when your clients show up, like when you manifest your perfect client and they show up, I'm telling you, there is no feeling quite like it. It is the coolest thing to manifest anything that you want. It is belief. Now, people are like, well, what's the difference between manifestations and affirmations? Affirmations are things that you say to yourself that combat your subconscious. Your subconscious is a feisty little devil. Well, it can be. I like to say your subconscious is in the back of your head, and it is either your biggest cheerleader or it's your biggest devil. I tell people all the time, my subconscious, I've given her an identity, and she is Gabriella Union from Bring It On, the Clovers. Yes, she is attractive and she is mean, and she's also nice. And you never know what you're going to get. Your subconscious only can believe what you tell it. So if you tell it that you're terrible, it will believe that you're terrible. If you tell it that you're awesome, it will believe that you're awesome. The thing about it is that you are of a certain age and you've been telling your subconscious things for all of your life. And affirmations combat those things that you've been telling yourself. If you've been telling yourself that you're ugly, you start an affirmation is, I'm the most beautiful person on the planet. And you say it to yourself in the mirror over and over and over again until you believe it. And that's the thing, until you believe it. One of my affirmations that I added recently is that I am the most attractive person in the room. I was doing a speaking engagement recently and I said that. I was like, my number one affirmation is I am the most attractive person in the room. And a woman in front of Jesus and everybody goes, ugh. It was silent when she did it. Ugh. Everyone was like, oh, okay. And I said, exactly. Yes. Okay. Yes. Your reaction is perfect. I said I'm the most attractive person in the room, and you automatically assumed I was calling myself the hottest person in the room. And no, That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I strive to be the most attractive person in the room, the one who's most full of joy, who shows up for everybody, who brings a laugh, who brings positivity in a world full of negativity. I am the most attractive person in the room, and people are attracted to me and need this light. I bring the light into the room. It also just so happens that I'm also wildly attractive. But here's the thing, in a world full of positivity and negativity, that woman's that that was just an example of how she sees herself, not how she sees me. She did also avoid me after the speech the rest of the day. She did not come anywhere near me after that. But that is one of my affirmations. I am the most attractive person in the room. And I say it when I wake up because that is how I want to show up into the world. Whether I'm having a bad day, a good day, does not matter. When I walk into a group of people, I am the most attractive person there. I bring the light, I bring the joy. Okay. And that affirmation it gets me through hard times. It gets me through hard mornings. It gets me through hard days. It fills me up all the way up. So, and that's what your affirmation should do. That affirmation is combating the story inside of my subconscious that I used to tell me that nobody wanted me around. That is the story that was in my head. Nobody wants me around. So my affirmation is I'm the most attractive in the room. People want to be around me. And because of it, I get to show up in joy every single day. I get to show up as myself every day. I get to show up as the most powerful version of myself. So when you're looking at creating affirmations, you look at the terrible, awful things that you say to yourself regularly. You have to start there. You can't start anywhere else. You have to start there. What hard things are you saying? And what beautiful, positive, wonderful things could you be saying to yourself? What could you be saying that is empowering, enlightening? It can be just as simple as like, I am smart, I am beautiful, I am kind, I am capable. Those are all things that we say to our children and have since they were tiny human beings. And they say it to themselves regularly. And they say it to other people. My favorite, I can do hard things. It is the most beautiful affirmation you can say to yourself. I can do hard things because you can. Okay. So that's just an example of a couple of different affirmations. You'll hear me saying affirmations all throughout the podcast and our time together. If you have a really hard thought that you're working through and you're like, I can't figure out an affirmation for this, send it to me. Okay. You can find me on social media at Say More Words Podcast or at the Tamika Taylor. Send it to me. I would love to help you create powerful affirmations that make this life powerful for you and wonderful for you and capable for you. And also, side note, before I let you go, if you're not journaling your thoughts, journal them. Get them out of your head. There is a powerful connection between the brain and your hand. We stopped writing when we started typing. It is a beautiful, wonderful thing to write out all of your dreams, all of your goals, your manifestations, and your affirmations. Your brain will get on your side. Your life will get on your side, and you'll watch your transformation through journaling. So I highly recommend get a blank notebook. Target has the best. Get a blank notebook and start writing down your thoughts. Okay, that's Say More Words. Those are all my words for today. I was only supposed to talk for a short amount of time, and I talked a little bit longer. So take my words, take my affirmations, and go create a beautiful, wonderful life. I'll see you next week. Bye.